once again. We started the webinar series titled Marketing Mondays last month and had few extremely interesting discussions with industry leaders. Today's webinar is titled Digital Marketing X.0. Our first panelist is Ms. Devki Sahasrabudhe, Chief Marketing Officer at Roadbounce. With over 15 plus years of experience at Tata's, Reliance, Kotak, and Bharti AXA, Devki has been on the entrepreneurial journey and co-founded a couple of ventures. Devki is a visiting professor at Wellinkar Institute of Management and is quite active at IIM networks and CII chapters. Devki completed her studies at University of Pune and IIM Bangalore. Our second panelist is Ms. Dilpreeta Vasudev. Dilpreeta is a digital marketing and innovations leader with 15 plus years of experience in the B2B and B2C space across varied industries like internet, hospitality, technology, and media and entertainment. Dilpreeta has worked with Jio Studios, Tata Sky, Microsoft, Times Internet, Tech Mahindra, to name a few. Dilpreeta is an alumna of ISB. A philomath, she loves to learn new things and has taken a sabbatical right now to do just that. Our next member is Mr. Rishabh Verma. Rishabh is an award-winning sales and marketing leader with 13 years of experience in creating and nurturing brands in the FMCG space. He has worked with companies like Godfrey Phillips, HCL Infosystems. Rishabh has managed iconic brands like Marlboro, Foursquare, and created new brands like Schmitten Chocolates. Rishabh is currently heading the marketing function for JK Foods. Rishabh completed his studies from MICA and IIM Bangalore. The fourth panelist is Mr. Vivek Bhardwaj, Global Head of Digital Marketing at ZS Associates. Vivek has 14 plus years of global experience in digital marketing, digital strategy, social media, and management, consulting across industries and organizations such as Microsoft, Cisco, Emerson, Cargill, Procter & Gamble, Wipro, and Airtel in geos like US, UK, Europe, and APAC. Vivek completed his studies from IIT Ghaziabad and IIM Bangalore.
What I genuinely feel is the right messaging which is required to go, and the right, we need to choose a right platform. When I say that, if we are talking about maybe a Facebook, okay, Facebook can be probably chosen on a different messaging aspect, so that is something which I would go ahead with. From maybe putting, like, for example, if I have to talk about Roadbounce. Now Roadbounce is more importantly and it's not an app. So basically it's a software which we have designed to technically understand the road roughness and thickness. So idea is to help India potholes free by 2025. That is what we are trying to target. Now when we are doing it, I'm also coming out with a mass product for this particular software, wherein all of us, specifically if I have to talk about Bangalore, we keep traveling from, say, Koramangala to Whitefield, or we keep traveling from various different locations to the workplace. Now these people, the people who are going from one place to other, they can be the people who can actually take the data into consideration, and we can actually capture the data and put it on Facebook and Instagram. Why these two I'm talking about predominantly is basically the volume, the mass which people will come ahead and respond to us will be much more higher. So that is where I would probably go ahead and look at how the digital will be working on these two platforms predominantly.
When we're talking about the current times, and the current times being the COVID times, it further reinforces that we live in a VUCA world, a world which is now more volatile, more uncertain, more complex, and more ambiguous. So I think the larger change that is happening around us is the way we are living, we are eating, we are entertaining. And in fact, that has a direct implication on the relevance of digital marketing and also the kind of messaging which is required. Let me share with you in terms of how it is actually impacting in a various way on the media channels. And that's why, if you look at traditional TV ad spends, these are being impacted due to the consumption losses. IPL is one of the mega event in India. It's stand cancelled, so it's a major impact on the TV consumption. Print media also severely impacted because of, one is a circulation restriction, and also I believe consumer fear that paper could be a carrier of disease. OOH, which is out of home advertisement, has come to complete halt as people prefers to stay indoors. So I think this is a fundamental shift that's happening, and that is leading to people spending more time online, whether it's about mobile phones or on their laptops. And that is primarily leading to consumption on a 4 key parts, I would say. We are seeing a spike in OTT content. People are, subscribing to Netflix, Amazon. I think we have seen Hotstar. Disney has got a record, subscriptions. People are now kind of, the whole idea of social belongingness, people are looking out for connecting through social media to stay connected with each other. E-commerce playing a very big role in terms of purchase of essential products. And of course, people are now searching information online, which can range from, cooking recipe to yoga classes. As we know that apart from the physical disease, mental diseases also seem to be one of the biggest, concern amid this COVID times. So if I have to look at in terms of all this scenario, what kind of messaging as a brand and as a companies need to look at, I would say there's already a lot of negativity around. And the idea is to create some positivity, get some positive message across. Please don't add up to the negativity which is already circulating in the market, and be very helpful and trustworthy. There is always information overload in such times, and people are switching on to the TVs and watching news all the time, and there's always a credibility loss. So we as a brand custodian through the digital marketing needs to give them a credible information and be trustworthy. Tell them that we are here to help you. And please don't be opportunistic at this point of time. Don't try to push your products and services amidst all this crisis. I think that's very important at this point of time. Importantly, this is a time when we also need to look at people who are actually helping and finding way to support each other. We need to celebrate those people. They could be our employee, they could be our customers, they could be our vendors, and also competition. And I would say in the last, the brand, the companies needs to enrich people life in these tough times, because as we know, we are in this together. Yeah, thank you.
No, I really like the idea that, trust that needs to be worked upon. And, I like the thought process. And I think a lot of us might echo with this, that this is a time when it needs more of, support rather than selling your product, right? So what sort of messaging you suggest, Rishabh, on this, how sensitive the messaging should be?
See, the messaging, I'll tell you, the most important is to actually educate consumers. Supposedly a brand like a sanitizer brand should not just only try to sell a sanitizer product. They should educate consumers about the way of washing hands, the number of times that you need to wash your hands, and the kind of social distancing that needs to be maintained. So the time is that it's not about just selling product and services. We are in tough times where we need to come, help, educate, and help in improving the consumer's life. That's very important, and especially in all this time where WhatsApp is used, being passing on to a lot of information. The company needs to be very cautious of not adding to that, the whole faking part of it, to create any kind of news that can have negative implications. So as a responsible brands, responsible companies, we need to give them a credible information. So that's I would believe is the most important piece of work that requires the brands to do at this point of time.
Sure, appreciate that. And I certainly echo with what you said. The more is that the intention or the purpose for which you are driving this has to be very noble and clear without any hidden agenda.
I'll step back and if I analyze what my marketing career has helped me understand about both digital and the traditional mediums of marketing is that digital is really a channel. It's a medium of communication. It's a way consumers and the brands and your partners, your suppliers, the entire ecosystem interacts. There are various touch points. And since it's a mechanism, it's a way of doing things, it's very important to integrate it alongside other touch points that you have. And that is true for organizations and their entirety as a business. It's not the domain of a certain, I would say, function, but it really is the domain of the entire company. So I think that's one big differentiator to have. And the second thing is to run it as an integrated machinery. I do understand that, every animal and every beast has its own way to tame, and there are different ways of working for every medium of communication, which must be done justice to. However, integration and thinking through at the time of conceptualizing a campaign, at the point in time when you're thinking of your marketing strategy, it is very important to think of digital and traditional mediums of marketing as one, because it's really about why you're doing it and what you hope to achieve with it. So I think that's very important. It's not an isolated medium of thinking. Also, some of the fundamentals of marketing need to be strengthened in digital, because I think there needs to be a lot more emphasis in terms of going back to your brand values, to the ideation being, there's a lot to learn from the traditional marketing spheres of planning. I think strategy planning is something that we need a lot better copywriting in that space, so I think these are things that we must learn from what has already been there in the industry for so many years, and there are so many exponents. So the thinking of the people has to be on the solution orientation and not the medium. Don't think the medium first. Think of what you want to achieve and what your objective is and what success looks like before you fundamentally arrive at this is the digital medium first thinking. Introduce digital into your marketing research. So for example, do you have a digital CSAT in the company? Do you have a brand track which incorporates digital components? When you think of innovation, what are you defining as innovation in digital? Are you defining a new kind of a brand ad that you have done? Does that specify innovation? Because I think innovation really should be something that marketers build, which is scalable, something that you can replicate, that is evergreen, and most importantly, it solves your business problem. So innovation centricity should also not hinge on just creative adapts of certain, a new Facebook form of ad that comes in. Yes, that's nice to have, but I think push the envelope on innovation with digital, because it really allows you to change the game on how you think as a business. And digital also gives us tons of tools. I think that's one of the beautiful things to have. It facilitates a lot of data. It gives you a lot of insights. And so I think using those tools to take more decisions is very important, and utilizing those tools. So I think it's very important to look at what's your consumption of that tool as opposed to how many tools you're using. So if you have that tool, are you using the feature sets, and are you using it to take decisions or to improve your organization? If you have sentiment analysis, is it helping you to service your customers? Is it tying back to organizational improvements? And I'll take something which is not in technology, which is a medium like social channels. All brands are present on social, but just putting out ads there is not going to suffice. It's very important to promote them. If you're putting in that endeavor to post something, then you must make sure that your consumers are seeing it as well. So I think, we have lots of tools. And I think there's a lot of convergence between what we see as the conventional marketing tools and the new age marketing tools.
Sure. Thanks, Dilprita.
talking about digital marketing from a consultant's view is fairly different from a user's view. If I look at digital marketing from a consultant's lens, I think it has both positives and negatives. If I talk about the current situation, the pandemic we are all in, uh, uh, Rishabh did talk about a lot of positives, so I'll not deep dive into the positives, but I'll just mention a few of them. People are moving from traditional media to digital media. They are understanding the importance of moving online. They are also we were seeing the traditional marketing channels like print and outdoor media. They are shrinking because they're not hitting the eyeballs they want. So there are definitely a lot of positives, but I just want to touch base on some of the negatives on digital marketing in the current times. It is important to look at how this economy will trend in the coming few months and maybe few years. So we don't really know. What we know for sure, it has impacted some of the large organizations and small organizations. We know the impact is across the economy at large scale. The revenues will shrink, the profitability will come down, so it will definitely have an impact on the media spend. So in a nutshell, if I say the positive is the marketers in these firms will understand the importance of digital marketing. Many of them belong to the traditional media, and and they don't really understood the importance of digital. So I think that scenario will change now in the shorter term. But in the shorter term, you will also see the money spent on digital coming down, and it's not as a percentage. The percentage will definitely go up, but the overall spend will come down, so it will have an impact on digital as well. But I also see it as a a far trending topic, because if you talk long term, once this pandemic is over, everyone's back to their usual normal lives. At that point in time, you will see digital taking a big pie of their spends. I see that as a a big outcome of this pandemic. If I talk about India per se, I think we've seen a major digital boom in the last few years, especially after the Jio launch, when the importance of GB of data, 1 GB of data, went from $350 to almost nil. Everybody was hooked on to YouTube and other video platforms and consuming huge amounts of data. So it has become the new normal now, for people to watch videos and to watch IPL on the iPhones and on the smartphones. So similarly, I think so if I talk about digital marketers in India, they have understood the importance, but for organizations which are let's say organizations in the B2B world, or organizations which have products from a traditional traditional industries, for example, let's say manufacturing, cement, B2B firms. So those will start to understand the importance of digital marketing, and they will start spending effort and time and money on digital marketing. I see that as a big trend. If I compare it with other geos, I think India was slightly lagging behind in terms of the catching up on digital. But I think this pandemic will solve this problem, and we will catch up much faster with all the developing world countries in a big way.
Sure, sure. And I think, I buy your thought that now people as well as organizations are being pushed to adopt to this, digital technology, or, a digital means of marketing per se. And people or organizations who were ready earlier, they are at advantage.
We don't really need a lot of digital marketing when it comes to influence the customers. But we definitely require a lot of digital marketing to talk to the end users. I'm talking about the people who are on the roads, who are driving on the roads. Okay, so we are doing a lot of we are doing a lot of technology awareness with the software engineers, with the people who are usually going on the roads, and we are telling them how we are important when it comes to actually building up with the data which you have on hand. Now, creating this personally, because we can't really reach out to the truck drivers, we can't really reach out to the lorry drivers and explain to them what we are doing through digital media, but we are doing we are taking a lot of initiatives on reaching out to them through these particular groups, wherein there are these drivers group, there are these lorry drivers group, etc. So we are doing a lot of work in that area. You may call it as a traditional marketing or a traditional influence marketing work. But when it comes to digital, so what we are trying to do, what we have done so far, we are trying to showcase that on various digital mediums, right? What happens then is the government looks at us. Now we will tag, for example, if you're working with the Maharashtra government, or we are working with Telangana or Andhra Pradesh for that matter. So when we tag them along, then there are other people who are also looking at us. Now, when I rightly told about the earlier project which we have on hand, that is mass data. We want to collect mass road data from people like you and me. Now, this will become very important, and this will become really influential to everybody. That hey, that Indian roads are changing. Indian roads need not be looked down upon as they used to be. So we are definitely on that. But yes, in our business, I think more on the strategy is the real time advertising or real time marketing, for that matter. Say for example, if when we were doing the Pune Mumbai highway, that is a feather in our cap. When we were actually looking at the road on the Pune Mumbai highway, there was a point when we wanted to actually look at and maybe put a board there, a signboard there, saying that we have already covered around 1100 potholes till now, and this will be done by the government of Maharashtra, and the PWD is looking at filling those potholes in such and such time. So that is relevant information, and that is relevant advertisement right now, which I would probably want to give to the mass in who is actually traveling on that road, right? So yes, we have taken a lot of these kind of things we have done. Plus digital marketing will be pivotal, right? I mean, in any case, we will have to look at too many things wherein how we have to communicate that to the world. So looking at what we have done in our organization, we have people from University of Texas, Stanford, they're reaching out to us and asking us how we are doing it. They also want to help us in bettering up our product. So that is again a probably that is the end result what on which we were doing all these things on. So yes, I mean, it is inevitable. Digital we will definitely have to do in a very very prominent way, because looking at the situation after COVID, and when the malls everything will be absolutely shut, we will not have, because a lot of data we actually take a lot of data from these malls, etc. as well, because there are these parking areas, right? Huge parking areas, huge parking lots. So
So,
we actually go talk to the drivers, tell them how do you find the road. So we do a lot of manual data collection as well.
so
So
do a lot
yes,
of
that
non-digital marketing as well.
non-digital marketing as well, because see, traditional marketing will always be there, right? Digital is, as Dilpreet rightly said, it is just a tool which we can use in a much focused manner to make it more
Absolutely.
comprehensive, to make it more
Absolutely.
yeah. So that is how we are trying to do it, and it's quite exciting. It's amazing. And when
Absolutely.
you go down and do that research on your own, trust me, it is fantastic. When you actually go and talk to people, it is like,
Absolutely.
wow, we did so much of work today. Instead of looking at, oh, how many SEOs today, acha, theek hai. But when you go and talk to people personally, but that is going to stop now. For
True.
at least some time, it's going to stop, and it's going to we need to see that how we are going to use this particular medium on a much higher strategy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Deepti.
Consumer electronics store, I could overhear the conversation happening between the salesperson and the consumer who came to buy a mobile phone. To my surprise, I think the consumer was already aware of the features more than the salesperson. And I was actually seeing the other way communication. Rather than the salesperson educating, it's the consumer who was educating the salesperson that this is how the features are. So I believe if we see what is the biggest change that is happening in terms of the consumer buying journey, that's very interesting to look at. Now, if you see in the traditional purchase funnels, we understand how does a consumer buy the product. So there's a stimulus. When I say stimulus, there is a communication. The communication through any medium, could be TV, could be print, could be radio, could be a web banner. And that's where he or she goes to buy the product and consume it. But the way the funnel is happening, and also I think the term that is being coined by Google, which is called zero moment of truth, is actually defying the traditional funnel, is when, because the consumers are already researching the products and services they want to consume. They're already seeing what are the different features, which are the other competition products which are available, what are the other friends, family, and other consumer talking about the products, and also which is the place where it is available at the lowest cost. So I think the biggest change in the evolution for the brands actually has happened. The consumer buyer journey has completely transformed to a non-traditional journey now. And I believe it may vary from sector to sector. If you see a category which is more involvement category, a product like electronics, a product like a car, a product like a insurance policy, or maybe a booking the hotel, I think this has absolutely transformed the way people consume the product and services. So I think that's the biggest evolution that has happened. And as Dilpreeta has rightly talked about, this is not just that you have to, as a marketing function, you need to map the journey. It has to be looked at organization wide, how the organization wants to put digital as part of their overall ecosystem. And that not only plans out the mapping the customer journey, but also the other tools, be it social listening, be it more agile company, and using digital as a strategic tool and not just as a marketing tool. Apart from that, from my personal experience, I would talk about in the communication front. I think time has gone when TV used to be the dominant medium. It's no more a dominant medium now. We see the brands build it without TV. And especially when TV, which is more of a one-way communication, and now people have choice to go for, the content on demand. So communication has actually moved away from a one-way communication to a communication where people wants to be engaged with. A good content people would like to share, comment, like. So that's why we see more brands now coming from selling the products to being more purpose-led, to be more where they can make a difference to consumers' life. And that's why you see brands actually talking about consumer more and their product and services less, because that's what matters at the end of the day. So in a nutshell, I would say time has gone where the brand owners are creating the brand. No, it's not the brand owners who are creating the brand. It's the brand and the consumer who are co-creating the brand. A one bad experience of consumer and anything on the digital media can lead to any virality and can break your brand in no time. And I can quote multiple examples of brand we have seen in the past. Despite spending crores of money on TV, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bad experience on digital can result to a big event. So I think that's the impact of digital. And unfortunately, it is still seen as one of the media investment, which is not the case. It's not a media channel. It's a part of strategic pillar. One good thing that actually Vivek also spoke about is that what this pandemic is leading to is a forced adoption of a lot of technology bit. I can give people who are in my organization, which are 50, 55, who would be more keen to see presentation on maybe pages. Now they are doing Zoom calls. They are doing the life-size calls. So I think there's a lot of forced adoption that will lead, and that will bring a permanent change in the consumer. And that's going to be age agnostic. So I'm looking forward that Because for a marketing custodian, it's to managing a board or managing promoters and bringing digital as a more of a strategic piece. When the team itself understanding on the digital piece is limited, it's a big change. In fact, it's a part of change management more than anything else. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely with you, Rishabh. I think this change came quite some time back when people had a choice to choose between newspaper and e-paper, which is a paper on their mobile, right? Many of us chose e-paper because it's convenient. You can bookmark anything, you can refer it again, you can share with your team members or whatever, blah blah blah. So I think the choice was made, but as you rightly said, and Vivek also mentioned, yes, now it's a forced adoption which is happening. So now we are not left with any other choice.
Digital transformation is really a leadership steer, and it requires a rethinking of the business models. And this is perhaps now with COVID, it's got accelerated. It will leapfrog, but digital transformation prior and in current times will mean relooking at business models and also I'll give you an example of this actually. So we relooked how we would sell Tata Sky subscriptions, and we made it a digital channel, which now is contributing on an evergreen basis. And then we added digital marketing layers to it, where we launched a referral campaign, etc. We launched it on e-commerce sites in a systematic manner. So you're constantly opening up new channels of selling. That was just a sales example that I've shared with you. But you need to really look at business models. There were a few more that I'm not at liberty to discuss with you at the moment because they haven't gone live. But you need to step back and look at what are the other ways of doing business. It could be, it's also beyond e-commerce. I think we see a lot of, a lot of conversations around e-commerce is the next thing. I think within the organization, there are so many functions which are going through a complete transformation. So sales does not imply only the last touch point. It also requires how you're going to train your sales force. How are you going to reach your retail sales professionals? How are you going to ensure that they are constantly updated? How are they managing their sales inventory? It's inventory management. Post sales. So how about your customer care? What is happening on that domain? Are you able to service them online? Indian people are still love the tangible, touch and feel. They love talking to a person. They're not really DIY, but is there going to be a change in DIY approach post the COVID? So there may be certain accelerators, there may be some fuel added to the acceleration, but these are certain essential functions that one needs to look at. The invoice and procurement, would you require any more of your PO work happening offline, any kind of invoicing done offline, or it can be all online. HR could look at how are they training their interns, how are they onboarding, how are they recruiting. So all processes need to be looked at. You need to look at not only the model, but every function, coming up to speed with digital adoption. Having said that, there is a sudden leapfrogging in the adoption of digital, which has happened today because of our circumstances, which implies that we need to be sure that the organization is equipped to scale up at that level. And it also requires the understanding of the employees. It requires scalability of solutions on a technical level as well. It requires us to be ensuring that there is privacy of our customer data banks being maintained, and we are working on secured systems. So there are many other aspects of scaling and digital transformation which come into play. What's our choice of technology? Is it going to cater to something for today, or is it going to cater for tomorrow? And I think that's something that we need to be very mindful of when we are taking those decisions, that we are not trading off short-term gains for long-term foresight. And that's not true only for campaigns, it's true for what you're investing in as your business model. So don't be short-sighted. Don't try to do things because this is the right moment. And, today the sentiment is of certain ambiguity. So let's mine it. Invest for tomorrow. So that's another thing in digital transformation. It also requires a lot of investment in ecosystem. So I think one of the best transformations that I can cite is wallets. Look at us. We are constantly paying through wallets. We are paying through online. We were considered to be a set of consumer base who was very, very apt, or we only used cash, right? And COD was one of the reasons, which was a COD format was brought in India for that reason, because people were not just comfortable using credit cards, and now we are using wallets. It required an ecosystem change. It required the customers to behave like that, not just an organization saying we're going to work with wallets, but it required a distribution base. It required customers. It required partners. So it's important to invest in that ecosystem early than later. So, and it's important to take them along with you. So invest in their learning, in their upskilling. And one of the most important ecosystems you carry with you is your employees. So, we're all seeing a lot of trainings that are happening. Employees are using time today to upskill on training. I think a very, very important piece of this today is to actually give them hands-on projects. So digital teams or those who are leading transformation are very hard pressed. They have their walls to their back with the workload. So it'll be great if you V-team with other functions. It'll give them practical exposure to the kind of projects that are happening, and and they are going to be on that curve of digital transformation with you. So you are actually carrying your whole organization on that curve, as opposed to making a center of excellence carry the digital transformation agenda alone. So create more advocates of it, create more people whom you carry with you. And it's a way of thinking.
Very valid. Thank you so much, Dilpreeta.
In the last few years, I think digital has been the most used and abused word. And when I say abused, because anybody who says that I made I did something on the website or I did something on Facebook, he termed it as digital, and they termed the organization going digital. So that's not true. So as an organization, one needs to think about how you need to change your DNA rather than just changing your clothes. So you need to understand what cultural changes need to happen in the organization, in how you service your customers, in how you build your products, and how you interact with your vendors, partners, even customers, and how do you ensure that that digital technology is being used to achieve the strategic goals of the organization. I think I can talk about one example which I really liked. I've been a customer of HDFC Bank, and I remember a couple of years back I went to the the bank branch, and I was asking for some a change of my address in their records, and what they told me was, sorry sir, we cannot help you. Here is the machine. Please log on to your net banking and do it yourself. We'll guide you how to do it, but this is how you should do it. And next time, please don't come to us. So it is important that that DNA needs to change. That organization needs to think of technology and digital as as a new norm. It's not something which you used it and then you didn't like it and now you've trashed it. It is not like that. It is a way of a new way of interaction, a new way of your own organization's behavior with its clients, with its customers, with its prospects, with its vendors. And it's important that you lay that foundation at the ecosystem level, at the foundation of your brand, at the foundation of your management.
Obviously, one has to tailor their particular strategies according to the digital now. going forward, because that looks like a key, right? Now if you go back on the Amazon Amazon app, you will see that they have started to do something called as spin and win. They have started to do a lot of activities on the app, wherein they now, I mean, I don't know about you, but I recently got a call asking for if I've bought a product from them, they wanted me to review the product. So these are the kind of things which big corporates have started already doing, and probably they will focus it on their digital page, or they have certain strategies which are coming up. Now, of course, looking at the platforms, looking at how the companies have to look at their product, and they have to use the digital marketing or strategies, they have to design those strategies according to their needs and basis. That is the key today. Now, for example, I mentor a company in Hyderabad which is into gaming. Now, when I talk about gaming, they are a little different. What they do is they have an app, and the products are launched on the app. Say for example, a toothpaste, a Colgate toothpaste is launched on that particular app, and the customers are asked three questions, and if they answer all the three questions correct, they will go ahead, they will get a voucher, and they can go and buy that particular product. So these are the kind of adaptions which corporates have started taking in. Now, considering the new range of advertising into digital, into the markets, I think the companies will have to decide what is it that is important for their particular product, and how they want to feature it going forward.
We've seen the kind of out of home economy has completely comes to the halt. Of course, because of the social distancing, everything which is out of home has moved to in home. So whether it's about food, whether it's about entertainment, whether it's about shopping, everything moves out of home to in home. And now literally everything goes online. Working online, educating online, doctor consulting online, doctor consulting online. So and especially all the businesses now thinking about business continuity plan, everybody assessing their investments, their capex. So the change is happening very fast, and in a very big manner. And we also see some of the industries impact. If we talk about airline, we talk about travel and tourism, we see those industries absolutely getting obliterated. Essential products, people are hoarding essential products. Suddenly we see 5,000 brands of sanitizers launching in the last 1 month. People are talking about now zero touch delivery of online products. Especially the biggest impact you would see, the whole impact of this migrant workers movement has impacted the supply chain, manufacturing, construction, transportation. So this is a very, very, very big changes that's happening. And I believe the organization ability to manage this change has to come right from the top by involving people, right, which are people feet on street. So say in our organization, what we did is we said, let's move away from quarterly, monthly plans. And we started doing weekly and daily plans. Let me tell you, we said that no more quarter, no more monthly plans. Right from the person sitting at the top needs to speak to people who are doing selling on ground. What is the situation? We started assessing those zones, the green zones, the red zones, the containment zones. What should be the strategy for each zones? This is the movement in the market. So I think one part is the complete planning has to move from very agile planning part, and it can't be just a quarterly, monthly planning kind of thing. Second, I think it is very important to realign your business priorities. It is very easy to get carried away and take a lot of short-term decisions, and at the same time, it is important to kind of take a view on the long term. So and that's a very critical piece, because there is always a tendency to kind of take a decisions which may look very good in the short term. Third, I would say is, at this time, the most important part is the way we come together and collaborate. We saw, ITC coming with Domino's and selling their essential products. Now we saw people like Swiggy and Zomato, where they're not able to give online deliveries. They are tying up with big baskets, Amazons, to leverage their feet on street. Similarly, we saw people on Uber and Ola now coming and helping them.
Yeah.
Same change is happening around, pharma company to liquor company coming together and supplying the alcohol to the pharma companies for creating sanitizers. So I would say, for me, I think it is primarily four things that I will say to manage this. The planning has to be very agile, and it has to be dropped down from the top till the feet on street. Second, I would say the brand needs to realign the priorities and don't just look at a very short term. Third, I would say there's no better than to collaborate. So even the smaller players has to come together and build an ecosystem to help each other. And fourth, we talk about already, which is the messaging. What kind of messaging you want at this point of time to the consumers? Do you want to reassure them that we are with you and give them a positivity, or you just want to you leverage this opportunity and be opportunistic? So I think these are the few things I would like to touch upon.
Sure. Thank you so much.
These are unprecedented times today.
Yeah.
And nobody in the world has any better idea than you. So everybody is going with, somebody may have more data, somebody may have a better gut feel, somebody, may have a better set of minds, but really nobody has 100% solution. Nobody's got it right already. So I think the first thing is to deal with ambiguity and accept and acknowledge that it is an ambiguous situation and there may be multiple solutions. Nobody knows it right. So accept it and work, so long as you are working on a few parameters, which could be being authentic, being true to your brand values, understanding the why you're doing it, not being short term, and using some of these great tools that we've spoken about in this session. If you have set your parameters, which need to be fewer than more, because then you're just complicating your decision making process, then go with those decisions, because nobody really has the right answers at this point. The other is looking at it from a consumer perspective. We've already spoken about how the consumer is also changing. Will the consumer mindset today, which we are seeing in the market, let's say an appetite for being more mindful, you see a lot more sessions being taken by spirituality, the spiritual gurus these days, people indulging in yoga, meditation, cooking, DIY things, reading, learning. Is this something that we will care for doing post COVID, which could be a year and a half down the line, a year down the line? Nobody knows. So we don't know the longevity of this consumer mindset, and will this be something that they will carry forward? We also don't know which of these trends may pick up. So, but it's important to start at least putting them together. Will people become more eco-friendly? Will sustainability and environment become an important concern? So start putting those together and start observing, start listening, start actively listening. And it's very important at this point to also look at, policies and industry policies, economic policies, looking at what other countries are doing. So be very informed about what's happening around you. An example, and there'll be some difficult questions which will start cropping up. For example, in Australia, there is this whole conversation about content creators versus aggregators. Why is all the revenue going to the aggregators and publishers like Google and Facebook who are not creating content, and rightfully so. Maybe these conversations were in the background earlier, but because there were revenue streams, people were not as bothered. But today, with their revenue streams drying up, this becomes a bigger concern for them. So there will be new, more difficult questions coming up. Just stay informed and be more mindful of what you're doing.
I think the tools and technologies which you use would typically depend on what is the strategic intent of the organization and what you're trying to do. Now, if I think from a organization's perspective, it could be, connecting with your customers. So that's like one aspect of it. The second could be improving your operational efficiency, to improve your costs using technology and digital technology in particular. Or it could be, building out a new business line altogether, which improves your top line. Now, for you to define what technology and what tools you need to understand what is the intent, why, what is your strategy, what is your vision, what are you trying to do, and then you got to decide what tools and technology you ought to use. So, for example, if you were to understand your customers better and and reach out to them more frequently, then maybe social listening tool is a great idea. If you want to leverage a technology to improve your operational efficiency, then you might want to look at another set of tools. There are tens of hundreds of tools which are available in the market. And Preeta and Devika, I think you're in Bangalore, so you would know there are n number of startup firms which are building these technology products across different domains. So it's right now, as a marketer, you would have a pick and choose options for any of and all of these technologies. So it's important that you understand your marketing strategy, your business strategy first, and then decide on what tools and technologies to use.
Ladies and gentlemen, wish you all a great day, a fruitful week ahead. Happy Ramzan, stay indoors, go digital, and stay safe. Cheers.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.
And with this, let's start the discussion.